Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk SAP. This is the Talk with Expert series where I talk with the wonderful minds in SAP. Today we have Biswa with us, and we will be talking about Basis and HANA and how it is going, what the future of Basis look like, what the future of HANA looks like. So, hey Biswa, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. For this podcast, and I hope I can add some value in it.
Yeah, I'm sure you
So
will
thank
add
you.
many values to this podcast. So, can you just give a small intro to yourself, what you do, and how you're doing?
Yeah, like I've been working in SAP Basis in last 6, 7 years, and I've worked in multiple customers and across. I worked in also overseas and also in the domestic areas. And from the support perspective and from the implementation perspective as well, I've worked extensively on your latest components like your S4 HANA or Fiori or your BTP or Cloud Connected. And also along with that, I worked on the cloud migration projects, especially for your on-prem to cloud migration to AWS or Azure or other cloud platforms. So that's all about me. Yeah.
That's such a vast experience. We're really happy to get that from you. So,
Yeah.
as any interview starts and anything starts, now my first question would be, what is Basis for you? How would you determine what Basis is?
See, for me, Basis is something, because when I joined, I had no idea about what is SAP Basis. So when I joined in the company, I started watching the YouTube videos and try to get other informations from all the people.
Yeah.
And in that time, at that time, you can say that was something that I don't know, and I was supposed to do the Basis work.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, the passion comes into my picture, and amazingly, I've learned SAP Basis, and it will give you a lot of excitement as the time passes by,
Yeah.
and you will learn new things, new technology, and people will genuinely rely on you because of your technical skills.
Yeah.
So that is what Basis is about me. Initially it might be a little bit dull for you, but the time you pass and the more you spend in the field of Basis, and
Yeah.
you learn more and more, then it will be amazing. And there are amazing scope, and also people are there who are like in 6 or 7 years of experience, they've achieved a lot.
Yeah.
So it totally depends on your skills and what kind of determination you have.
Yeah.
So you can say something. It's just not about the earning. It's about also something that you are doing the value addition to the company.
Yeah. Like I think the Basis guy are the only one who are reached first whenever a issue drops in. So you are also blamed for everything, whatever goes in at the
Yes,
start.
quite true. I totally agree because Basis got, like if you're into support areas, then there is something people say, oh, it's not so good and something like that.
Yeah.
But the moment you step into implementation, you started building the system, you started migrating the system, then customer is totally depending on you, and they are like you are the showstopper for them. So
Yeah.
it's something like that, yeah.
So, as we talked about two different projects right now, as we were discussing about support role and
Mhm.
implementation role. So, what are the differences and what are the different qualities that are needed by different consultants there? Can you put some light on
No,
that?
for support project, okay, this is very interesting question because there are a lot of people who want to, understand what is support and implementation.
Yeah.
Because the moment you step into SAP Basis, you will be put in the support projects, because in support you will do the normal troubleshooting, performance issues, and your day-to-day troubleshooting, so that you would be understanding the core of Basis and how the functionality works. So once you are strong in Basis support for at least 3 to 4 years, then you try to step into the system build or system migration or installation or maybe your upgrades. So like those kind of activities which are like like you can say those are high quality work, and that is the real value addition to the company. Because support is okay, you are maintaining the landscape, you are maintaining the system, but when it comes to your implementation, you are totally giving them the idea from the scratch, how to manage, how to build the system, how to do the like sizing, other things. So like customer is totally depending on you. So I say both are equally good. For the beginners, initially 3 or 4 years you can spend in support,
Yeah.
but there is a time passes by, you need to move to implementation, so that you can have a better future.
Yeah. So as we were on topic of migration, what is migration? Like I know it's as soon as I hear the word migration, it's moving from some location to the other location. But what is the particular scenario in which customer migrate?
So migration in the sense, like why they most of the customers, why they migrate, because of their business requirements. Something like that, if some customers are running on your Oracle, or maybe they are running on DB2 or some other database, they want to implement S4 HANA, right? So to do that, ideally they need to go to the HANA database, and from there they can go for the S4 HANA migration. And similarly, it totally on the business requirement. It's not about something that customer decide on the overnight. No, if their business grows and they want to move the like one OS to some stable OS, because there are a lot of OS available like your Windows, Linux, or AIX. So based on the feasibility, based on the size and structure, and based on the capability of your OS, they want to migrate. So in that situation, they migrate. So it could be your OS, it could be your database. So it could be even like now we are using, because when we do the S4 HANA migration, we use the DMO concept, and for ABAP systems, we just immediately, we at one downtime only, we migrate, we upgrade, and also like the Unicode conversion, everything happens in a single downtime. So that is something very interesting. So migration is a lot of aspects. So based on the business demand, people plan for it. So but ideally, there are like major migrations. What I see is like from any database to any database, you can migrate, like your OS, your Oracle to DB2, DB2 to Sybase, or Sybase to HANA. So there would be a lot of options. Yeah.
So we like since the SAP career has started, we also heard about the term global certification. How do you think that is affected, and how important those are for the young consultant and the old ones?
Yes, SAP certification is something that, there are a lot of clients or a lot of companies which really ask for you for the certification. Before you interview, they will ask you if you have done certification or not. But for my case, after 4 years, I got my first certification. So what I say, if you know the skill, if you know the core of the things, how to troubleshoot, then you go for the certification. But if you do the certification before knowing the knowledge, that is totally, valueless, and that won't be doing any kind of help for you, because the moment you step into the interview, you say, I have done the certification on Oracle or system administration of, like your Oracle with SAP with Oracle or SAP with HANA, then he will shoot a question to you, and you have no answer to, in return. So that's the reason, if you're going for certification, is always good, because you need to update yourself. So that will definitely help you, but ensure that you know about it. Then only go for the certification, because I see a lot of people are just blindly going for the certification. They don't know the basics also. So that is dangerous. And even if you've done that, don't write in your profile, because the moment you see that if you mention S4 HANA conversion, you don't know how to do the S4 HANA conversion. Then that goes wrong. Totally.
Actually, I have seen people putting in their resume and then having a training session to just answer the question that pops in the interviewer's head when they hear the term conversion.
Yes, absolutely. That is dangerous, because that the moment you are going for an interview, and there would be a chances of selection, but the moment you furnish the wrong information, so he will say no. He's certified, but he doesn't know anything.
So as we are talking about migration here, what time span does it take, like for a particular migration to happen? Generally, like on a
migration, it totally depends. On your database, and also on your customer. If you're working for a service-based industry, or the customer, you are working on MNCs, that take a lot of time, maybe 15 or 30 days, something 1 month they take for the single system migration. But if you're looking for a normal migration time, it totally depends, because the total time which is taking on your DB export and import. So based on your table size, based on your database size, if it is 50 terabyte or 30 terabyte, so you need to do the table splitting, and also you need to plan accordingly so that the downtime can be optimized. So it's very difficult to say, how much time should it take, but it totally depends on your database size and the configuration that you have. If your database is small, easily you can take the export using SWPM, and you can import it later. So that will be very fast. But if you have a larger database, then accordingly you need to be very careful so that your data would be protected.
So when I joined, I had a friend who thought that the unique selling point of the Basis module is that you don't need to have coding experience in it. And that's true in various aspects, but people tend to confuse it with you don't have to need any computer science informations also, because at a situation we were dealing with Linux, and one of my friend thought that a file can be renamed using rm command, and that file was entirely removed. So how do you think, like when I think it the OS operating system, the networking and the cloud computing part is an integral part of Basis. So what are your views on that?
Yes, that's true. But like if you're into basis, you don't need to be very strong in OS or network.
Yeah.
There are some commands that, because if you're working on a CC Linux or you're working on Windows, you should know the common commands like your ls command, ls-lat command, and your rm make dir command. So like even if you Google it, you'll get all these points. So you just need to write it down. What are the Linux commands? It is helpful for you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily you need to understand how to create a OS file system, how to do the OS defragmentation. Those are not required. Okay, and also similarly, the thing goes for a network side. You should know what is telnet and how to do the telnet testing, how to do the IP trace route, because that will give you an idea. Suppose customer is saying your server is not reaching, you can do a telnet test or IP trace route so that you can find if it is reaching or not. So the basic networking skill and also the like if config -a and other netstrat configuration, the small things you should have in your mind, but not necessarily to be very strong in network or OS.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you run any command like your rm-rf or you are doing any deletion thing, ensure you check with your seniors or double check. If you have doubt, you just Google it. So I use rm command or any special precautions is required, because a small mistake can cause a lot of issues. So that's the reason the OS and networking knowledge and also your cloud knowledge is integral part of Basis, but up to some extent. It's not like you need to be very strong in OS or networking.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I will just like to add, like the grep command is also very useful when you are dealing with a file system. That's
Absolutely.
So to start with, the other question would be, what do you think ideal SAP journey, like SAP Basis journey start should be? Like for example, I'm just entering the SAP Basis world. How should I start preparing, and how should I just cope up with everyone?
Okay, so when you enter into the Basis world, first thing you need to understand what is your role. Okay, first identify what are the day-to-day function that you're going to perform, because based on that you need to understand that what would be your role. So suppose you joined a company and you just want to work in a single database. So just focus on that, learn that particular SAP component or SAP ECC, BW. I mean, like, just try to understand a support perspective, like why the system is going down, why the file system is getting full, and what should you do when system performance is slow. So more and more troubleshooting skill, initial level, at least for 2-3 years. Then that will build a lot of idea about SAP Basis. And once the time passes by, please start asking for the implementation work, like system build or upgrades or installations, or maybe any, like SPS upgrades, so that, slowly with time, you will be more confident. And never be idle that you are not given any work. So don't think, oh, I'm so free and I don't need to worry. No, because with time, the moment, once you reach 7 years, 8 years of experience, people start asking a lot of questions. If you don't know,
just rises,
definitely expectation rises. So for me, just start in a support environment, learn the basics and learn about a single database, but perfectly. Then it's always good to start for the implementation. And once you're into the implementation, then try to learn in 2 or 3 database, like your Oracle plus HANA or HANA plus DB2, so that HANA should be common, but along with that, you should learn about any additional database, which would be really helpful, because you don't know where you're going to join next and what would be the landscape of the customer.
Yeah, agree. So as we are talking about expectations, what do you think how the people who are already working in the Basis domain should grow, who are looking for a switch or who are just looking to improve their role in the same company, how they should cope up with the new technologies that are coming up?
See, if you're working in the same company, it would be challenging. Why? Because you are already settled down in a single role, and your landscape would be same. Because suppose your landscape is running with Oracle, with your choice, your company or your customer cannot change it. So anyways, you have to work in Oracle database. So for me, if you see you are saturated, you have spent at least 2-3 years in a company, try to switch and try to get somewhere where the latest components are implemented. Like there are a lot of middle level companies or small companies where you can get more and more opportunities. They are doing S4 HANA migration or S4 HANA implementation projects, greenfield or brownfield. So that will help you a lot. So you just, instead of staying in a single company, you are not getting the chances, then try to, because at the end of the day, you need the hands-on. Your theoretical knowledge will help you, but up to very little extent.
Yeah. So that's all the points I agree with you. Like, some people are just working on the technology, Redwood, for example. They just know about that, so it's difficult for them to switch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So talking about COVID has just started the remote culture. Everyone likes to stay at home and working from home. So what do you think the future of this is? Do you think that it is going to continue? I know it will depend on client to client and module to module, but in general, what's
Absolutely.
the market trend looks like? Is it going to stay?
See, as it is almost for 2 years or 3 years almost.
Yeah.
So people are not in a mindset. If you ask me, I'm not in a mindset to go to office and start working. So it totally depends on the people. Some people are interested to go and work in office, but as I see, 90% of people are more comfortable working from home,
Yeah.
and because you don't have the barrier right now.
Yeah.
You are in Pune, you can switch to Hyderabad.
Yeah.
You are in Delhi, you can switch to Kolkata. So like, doesn't matter where is your company.
Yeah.
The only thing, you should have a laptop, you should know the basic skills,
Yeah.
then you can start working. So I think this will be for at least for next 6 to 7 months it would be there, but after some time, as we say, the hybrid culture would be there. I mean, 2-3 days you need to work from office, 2-3 days you need to work from home. So it's something like that. So I think most of the MNCs, they've started implementing it.
Yeah.
So I think by next end of this year it would be fully flexibly, I think, implemented.
Yeah. Okay. Same goes for me. I also love to work remotely, in my space, in my zone, whatever I want
Absolutely,
to do. That's
yes.
really great of COVID that we get the chance of working remotely.
Yeah, that's true.
It has some benefits. Now, what I think is the basis monitoring. People who used to do basis monitoring and all these automations coming up, and the cloud providers coming with so much of monitoring tools. Do you think basis is going to die, or basis has no future, or how a basis guy should cope up with these changes, the automation?
No, I don't agree with this, because why? No doubt how much automation you do.
Yeah.
Okay, you cannot do automation for SPS upgrade.
Yeah.
You cannot do automation for migration. You cannot do automation for, there are major things that manual intervention is required. Suppose you are building a robot cannot do all the function as a human being.
Really?
So the same thing that implementing something, your automation, that will help you to reduce your full time or the time counts.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can reduce the resources, but if you say basis will die, impossible, because every day there is an evolution, and people are learning new technologies, and new technologies are coming in place in every year. That is very challenging for us to learn, like, all the new technologies. Whenever you attend an interview asks you something different. So it is always good, I mean, to think positive, and basis will never end like that, because automation just partly helps it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, a lot of things are there in basis which is totally manual work.
Yeah.
It cannot be automated.
Okay. But I think the few resources might drop down for monitoring purpose. I guess few resources might go down. How do you think?
Yeah, but the demand is so huge.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see the current market,
Yeah.
people are hiring like anything, and
Yeah,
I see like the market is flowing with basis profiles.
Yeah.
So
even the great
for it-
resignation is going on right now, and this
Yes,
remote culture is
and
acting as a catalyst. for that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you see for next 2-3 years, it will be booming like anything.
Yeah.
And also because of the remote culture, people are, like, the people who don't have the skill set, they are also getting hired
Yeah.
because of the proxy things and other things. So I believe like it is good, but if you see, the remote culture will be helpful. I mean, it is helpful for us as of now, but there are a lot of disadvantages,
Agree.
at the same time.
Agree. So, as we are talking about interviews and resignation, so what are the hot topics that a basis guy should know? That would be the first part, and the second part would be, for example, what are the skill set that is required for a person with 3 years of experience, with a person of 6 years of experience, and what are the added responsibility that goes on? So, please pour some light on that.
Okay. If you have 3 years of experience, then when the interviewer asks you some questions, they just check your basic knowledge. I mean, like, what you exactly know about SAP Basis and your troubleshooting skills, like your performance issues, system got slowed down. So what are the things you need to check? And also along with that, the kernel upgrade, STPI or patching update. So 3 years expectation is very less. So people ask you day-to-day monitoring. Along with that, some middle level work like your kernel update or STPI patching, or using your spam and saint. So only the basic troubleshooting skills.
Yeah.
But if you're going for your 6 years of experience, then the expectation is very high. They expect you to be at least strong in 2 database, and they expect you to be good in SPS upgrade, and you should know about your upgrades and migration as well.
Right.
And meanwhile, you should have a good idea on installation and sizing. So just installation is not enough, because you should know how to do the sizing. Like what should be your RAM, what should be your like CPU, and how much space should be there, how should be the file system structure. So you should think about a solution architect perspective. I mean, that is the expectation in the market if you go for 6 years of experience. And also if you know migration, that will do extra value addition. That is, even your 3 years of experience doesn't matter, even if you have 6 of your experience, but migration and upgrade, that will help you everywhere. But for 6 years of experience resource, you should know it. If you don't know it, then that will be very difficult. And after you try to change the company after 2 or 3 years, it will be very difficult for you.
Completely.
So that would so that would be the suggestion for the people who are of 6 years. And the more and more time you spend, like people expect more and more, because they expect you to be expert in cloud or hyperscaler or some other platform. So based on that, the expectation goes up.
So one more skill set that is added to basis profile is scripting. Many people, many recruiters ask for that, and I see many people going into scripting. So what do you think the scope of scripting is in basis domain?
See, scripting, if you ask me, I am particularly poor in scripting. I have no idea on scripting. So, but what I have seen in my company or some other company where I worked earlier, scripting is huge demand. If you know the scripting, then definitely it will help, because if you're going for a automation, or you suppose you want to go for a system refresh automation, you want to go for a monitoring automation, or any OS level file system deletion, or if your file system get full, so your automation will clean up the file. So that will save you a lot. So scripting will help you, because to automate the things. But as I say, it is always an additive. It is not something which is very primary. But that will be something, like you can say, if you know scripting, that will help you a lot.
So as we talk about scripting, and I have 2 more topics which I just referred from your channel, and I will just share it off. You were those among few people who I looked upon when I started writing blogs and when I just started recording videos.
Okay,
so
thank you.
that's really up to you. Thanks for that. So the 2 topics which I have been looking from your channel is the system refresh and replication. I will just put the description in the link so that people can directly refer from there, or somewhere here and there in the links. So I just want to know what refresh is in a very small layman way, and again about replication goes for the same.
Yeah, refresh, system refresh. In my channel, I've already put, 3 videos about it. What are the things you need to do the pre-checks, and what is your database history recovery. That is for Oracle DB I put, and some other database also I would be putting in near future. And after that, I am discuss about the post steps. What are the post steps of your refresh? So refresh is nothing but your, suppose because your business is running on a production system or any other system, your data is there. So if you want to refresh your existing system with another system data, that is called a refresh. It might be production, it might be quality server, so that doesn't matter. You can refresh your development server with the quality data, you can refresh your quality server with production data. So only thing is you should have 2 database, that should be of same compatibility, like same database version, same patching, everything should be same, so that you can go for the refresh. And what will happen, the source data would be copied into your target. Okay, so then you can use the source data for the testing purpose. So that's what the objective of the system refresh, and that's why customer does it. I have never seen any people who is in the system refresh of production system. Hardly it happens. So mostly we do the non-production systems, because production data we use in a quality system or development system to do the testing.
Kind of
or to do some checking. Absolutely. So that's the objective of refresh, and that's why we do the refresh. And if you ask for the replication, there are we have HA to primary to HA and HA to DR. We have 3 tier, and also we have 2 tier, like primary to HA. The ideal objective of replication is to protect your system. Suppose your system is running with your HANA database and anything happened and your system goes down.
Yeah.
So your primary will go down, but it will automatically take over to your secondary database, so that customer won't be knowing that your system is down, your business would be running smooth. But the only difference is your primary system would be down, and your secondary would do the running, secondary database would be running the business as usual. So why we do the replication? Because whatever the primary database containing, the replica would be in your secondary database. So that's why we do the replication, because that is a costly affair, no doubt. But when it comes to your business, live business, nobody wants to take the risk. So that's the objective of replication, just to protect your system and protect your business. We just replicate the data from primary to HA and HA to DR. So that's the objective of replication. If you need more details, my videos are there in my channel, so you can go there and refer to that videos. And the best part is, if you have any doubt, like, I'm open always, and you can put in the comment section or maybe in the other platform, so that I can answer it quickly.
Yeah, I will also put on Biswa's LinkedIn profile, and you can just pop in a message there as well. So that will be trouble for Biswa, but yeah, I think he can go.
No, but I've already given the channel details and everything in the YouTube channel itself. So all the channels are open, even Instagram or Telegram. So all the platforms are given in the about section, so they can refer that.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. So talking about you moved from a corporate culture to a freelance culture. So the question one would be, how was the transition? And the question two would be, what is the scenario of freelance in SAP Basis? Do we get jobs, and like, if we get it, how to get it?
See, if you want to work as a freelancer, it is very difficult, because the important part is why somebody will believe you.
Agreed.
And when some company works with a client, then there is a SLA, service level agreement, and in case anything goes wrong, they have to pay fine. As I am an individual working as a freelancer, then in that case, I have nothing to pay fine. The only maximum, they can devour my salary, they won't be paying my amount, that is all, right? But when it comes to the business data or business loss, it would be huge. So the ideal approach would be, like, mostly you will get the overseas opportunities, or you will get the freelancing opportunities abroad, not in India. Because I see a lot of very less projects in India. But if you try to connect some people who are hiring for freelancers across the globe, or maybe some Europe region, mostly for Europe region, there are a lot of freelancing opportunities, because they pay you in terms of the euro, and you get the work done, and there is a business commitment as well, and the things are done. The only thing is, you need to build your connection. Don't add your family, friends in your LinkedIn, rather than add the people who are really important and who can add value in your career. So add them. Like, send requests to the freelancer recruiters and reach out to them, and try to even they don't have any opportunity, please cross check with them if there is any chances, any opportunities, and what is the market rate. So based on that, you can try. And trust me, if you work as a freelancer, it doesn't make any difference. You have your own independence. You get the task done, and you are appreciated. So that is one point. And the best part is, you don't need to worry about who is going to fire you, who is going to hire you. So and also you work independently, so that boosts your confidence as well. So for me, I think that is the best part. And last but not the least, if you ask me about the how we get the opportunity, or is it really good, or is your career really secure, that is totally up to you. Because if you are capable enough, your future is secure till your death. But if you don't know, then you cannot help yourself. So it's all about you. And my suggestion is to build a strong network in LinkedIn. Even add 3,000 people, but those should be related to SAP. It's not like your family, friends, school friends. Then that is very difficult, and just for the sake of connection, don't add people.
So as you already said, how important LinkedIn networking is. I also think that even when you share someone's document or this, you can just scope up, okay, I am reading this, and these are the few points I looked up, which is good. So that makes the networking easy and let the community grow in a better way. And people already know what you have been working on, so you can just ask for them to work, or they can directly come to you to work for that. Yeah, that's how it gets.
Yes, absolutely. LinkedIn is very helpful in terms of the job opportunities, and also in terms of the documentation. Like I get a lot of documents from LinkedIn as well, and those are like your SAP notes or SAP documents, and which you may not find over Google, so you get it in LinkedIn. So that is really helpful, for me at least.
Yeah. And documentation, I think, is a very important task when it comes to basis consultant. You should always document what
Yes.
you're doing in case you have to revert it back, or in case you have to forward it to your juniors or anyone who is doing the similar activity. It's very great if you are good in documentation.
Absolutely, that
Yeah.
is very important, because if you document it after 2 years, if you want to go through that,
Yeah.
at least you can remember, yeah, I've done that. So just you need to brush up the things and you can go for interview.
Yeah. It's great to write. No matter how silly it sounds and how small it is, if you write it, you will just have it in your
Yes,
OneNote.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, true. Agree.
So that's all from my end, and thanks a lot for being with us. And this was
Yeah,
such a wonderful time. And how was your time? I think you had a great time.
yeah, amazing. Because I remember the way we connect. I mean, over the LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
we started because our objective is same, and we
Yeah.
just get connected, and we both are trying to help each other. Like you are building your own network, I'm building my own network, and
Yeah.
but our goal is same.
Yeah.
So hopefully we will be working together in future as well.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. And it was amazing working with you. And thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
a
you
lot.
so
Thanks
much.
a lot. Yeah.